Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. In this session, we'll be taking a detailed look at Workshop 2.0, the brand new interface for the Cloud POS Workshop. Now, we do have a chat running alongside this webinar and a Q&A. There isn't anyone currently monitoring the Q&A, so we will take a moment at the end to take any questions that haven't been answered. But please do feel free to leave any comments to say if you are unable to see the slides that I'm currently presenting, or when I change to share my screen to show you the workshop, please do pop a comment in if you're struggling to see that. Today's webinar will cover, first of all, how to access Workshop 2.0. Then we will talk a little bit about the new features that we've added in, specifically the board view and storage slots. We'll then go on to talk about the improvements to existing functionality that we've made, including enhanced searching, improvements to job management, new payment and communication features, calendar and scheduling updates, and some enhancements to Book My Bike In. I will also be sending out a recording of this session to everyone who's registered to attend, and we'll be putting this webinar on YouTube as well for anyone who hasn't been able to make it today. And then at the end, I will take a quick look at the Q&A just in case there's anything that I've missed. To access Cloud POS Workshop 2.0, I'm sure that many of you will already be familiar with the external links that we have currently within back office and the point of sale. Currently, these will take you to Workshop 1. However, as of the full launch of Workshop 2 on Monday, the 2nd of March at 7 p.m. GMT, these links will take you to Workshop 2.0. However, if you would like a bit of a sneak peek before then, you can log into the back office as you normally would, and then you can delete back office from the end of the URL or the web address and replace it with Workshop to have a look at the brand new and improved Workshop 2.0. So some of the improvements that we've made include bringing Workshop 2.0 into the back office, giving it an updated code base to improve performance with faster speeds and a more modern design, which aligns with the current visual style of back office and point of sale. This has also allowed us to bring Cloud POS Workshop under the shared authentication that back office and POS currently use, so that you can stay logged in across all three modules. I'd now like to introduce you to one of the biggest changes we've made to Cloud POS Workshop, which we're particularly excited about. The main screen that you'll see when you open the workshop is the board view. We still have the calendar and list views that you're probably familiar with, but the primary view is the board view. I'll show you this live in the platform in just a moment. The board view is based on a Kanban board or a T-card system, and it is driven by custom order statuses. So if you bear with me while I switch over to the live sharing of the screen. Hoping that everyone can view that and that someone will shout up if there is in fact a problem with it. So a few months ago, you may remember that we launched the custom order statuses in the back office, where we gave you the ability to create your own statuses and to add colors and icons of your choice. You now also have the option to choose which of these statuses you want to show on the board view in the workshop. So you might, for example, if you have an e-commerce site with us, you might have some statuses that are specifically for web orders, such as this ready to dispatch status here, which might be used more in the warehouse for the picking and packing team. If you choose to show them on the workshop board, these statuses will each have a column in the workshop module, and any jobs that you have set the awaiting parts status on will sit in the awaiting parts column. When the status of a job changes, so say the parts that we were waiting for on this job have arrived on a delivery, we can simply drag the job card from one column to another. Each column has a summary at the top to show you the total value of the jobs in the column. This can be very useful for identifying any bottlenecks. For example, if you have a lot of work sat in awaiting parts, that would suggest that you might need to chase some outstanding purchase orders with your suppliers. And you can also see how much time those jobs will take to complete, which should help with capacity planning. The unallocated column on the left displays any jobs that currently don't have a status set. And you can sort the jobs on the board by due date, as we have here, using this drop-down in the top right. That would allow you to prioritize the most urgent jobs, for example. Or you can also set it by order value to prioritize the more expensive jobs. You can group and filter this board view in a few different ways. The Group by Mechanic button at the top left here gives each mechanic in your workshop a different row on the board view. So you can then see which jobs are assigned to which mechanics. That's also shown by the initials in the bottom right corner here. You can focus on a particular mechanic's workload just by clicking on their initials at the top here. So that shows me just Tani's workload, for example. Or I can just see everyone's at once with the unassigned jobs, so any jobs that aren't assigned to a mechanic, sitting in the bottom row. You can use these buttons at the top to show or hide completed jobs on the board. So every job that's in green, the work has been done, it's been completed, but the bike is waiting to be collected and paid for. Or you can choose to hide them if you're only interested in seeing what's still left to do. You can choose to look at overdue jobs only. Overdue jobs are given a red outline. They get a red alarm bell icon, and the due date is also shown in red. Or you can choose to just look at bike builds, which have that same spanner or wrench icon that we had in Workshop 1, or just checked in jobs. So, as I'm sure you're aware, jobs that are already physically there with you in the workshop, available for you to start working on them. We now have a search at the top of each of the three main board views, the three main views, the board, the calendar, and the list. We've made these searches more powerful and faster, so as I start typing for some of these search terms, the results will appear as I type. I can search for a job by order number. I can use the customer name. I can use the order reference. So here we've got William's job, which the reference is replace bottom bracket. Or I can search by the service item, so by the bike itself. So I could look for this. I've got a Turbo Levo and a Turbo Como, and I can look at which one I want to work on. So this is the search bar on the board view, but exactly the same search terms and options apply on the calendar view with the search bar in the top left here. And I'll go over the calendar view in a bit more detail later on. And then we have the list view as well, which should look fairly similar to the list view that you're already used to. We have our powerful search at the top, and then our various column headers and filters underneath. Another feature that we've added, which I'm quite excited to show you, is storage slots. So in the back office, under the workshop menu, we now have a workshop storage slots page here. Storage slots allow you to specify where a particular bike is being stored in your workshop. So you might have some racking with different shelves and slots where you would store the bikes, or you might have hooks on the wall, for example. And you can create as many storage slots as you have space for. And this makes it much easier to locate the bike for a particular job. So I can see this column on the right tells me which service item is stored in which slot. You can see which slots are free for new bookings. And it gives you full visibility of which jobs are where in your warehouse or your workshop or your store. When creating a workshop job in the point of sale, underneath the service item dropdown, we now have a storage slot dropdown. And we can see here that the currently occupied storage slots are grayed out, so I can't select them. But the 3 that are showing in black are currently available. So I could just choose whichever slot is free and assign this job to that slot. You can only have 1 bike or 1 job per slot, which prevents any duplicates from occurring. This feature was a very popular request on our feedback forum, so we're very pleased to be able to launch it for you with Workshop 2. If I go back to my workshop module, go to the board view, I can open a job and show you how that looks different and the new improvements that we've made. Just click once on a job in the board view to open it. And it will open from the top of the screen. We've added a few tweaks to your current processes to improve job management. So for example, we've added a flag for important jobs here, which puts a little star icon on the job card. And we've also added a warranty flag. For the moment, the warranty flag is mainly intended to help with revenue reporting. So you can exclude warranty jobs from your revenue analysis of regular service and repair work. But we have a few other plans to make this warranty flag show in different places in the future. So watch this space on that one. We've made the distinction between the customer-facing receipt comments and the internal order notes much clearer. If I scroll down a bit, we've made the item grid auto-save. So if I am ticking off a step, that will auto-save as I make the change. And we can change any quantities of an item just by over-typing it. We don't have to click edit and then update it and then click save. You can add items to your workshop job from your product database, just as you normally would. Or you can import an item directly from SIM when it's got this little SIM flag here, just by choosing it from these results, and then adding the department and category as you normally would. That allows you to import it from SIM and add it to the workshop job at the same time. We've made it possible to create and share a payment link directly from the workshop module to pay off any extra balance or take a deposit if necessary. We've also integrated the task pad into the workshop module, which would allow you to add your frequently used workshop consumables to a job. So if I have any inner tubes or patches or whatever parts you would regularly use in the workshop, you can add them in just a few clicks. You can see that added that inner tube just here. And if I scroll back up to the top, when it comes to contacting customers, we've created some new placeholders for your communication templates. which I have created a list for here so you can see. So you can now set up templates that include the order reference, order total, the balance due on the order, so if you've already taken a deposit, what's left to pay, and the individual order lines as well. These will be pulled directly from the workshop job, and that's in addition to the already existing placeholders of customer name, store name, service item, booking date, and booking time. If I go back to the point of sale quickly, some of you may already be aware, but it's worth noting as well, that if I save my current order, when it comes to recalling orders in the point of sale, if I bring back Michael, we recently added the ability to recall multiple orders for the same customer. So I can bring up a completed workshop job, and then I can also bring up any other jobs or layaways or special orders so that you can pay for multiple workshop jobs or special orders at the same time. This should make it much easier to serve families who are having multiple bikes looked at once in the workshop, or companies that have whole fleets of bikes that need to be serviced. Moving back to the workshop, we can take a look at the calendar view. If I come out of my job for Laura Jones and click on calendar just here. This view maintains the familiar functionality from Workshop 1 with a few extra improvements. You can select a particular mechanic just by clicking on their initials here to view just that mechanic's calendar. And if you drag a job onto the calendar with a particular mechanic selected, that will automatically assign that job to that mechanic. So that is now assigned to Jackson. You can select multiple mechanics at once, or you could choose to just look at the unassigned jobs by using this little person icon just here. If I choose to show completed jobs, again, we can see that the jobs turn green when the work is completed. And this icon here of the little hand being held out with, I think, some coins landing in it, will show if a job has been collected and paid for by the customer. We can still see when a job has been checked in, or when a job is a bike build, when jobs are overdue with the red alarm bell, the red due date, and the red outline. The job status is indicated by the small icon next to the order number. So we're currently working on Simon Hart's bike. Michael's service is on hold, and Steve Farer's job is currently awaiting parts. We've also brought in a right-click actions menu to job cards in the board view and the calendar view, where if you right-click on the job card, you can quickly access the main actions that you might want to take. So things like being able to print a job tag, open the customer communications, recalling the order in the point of sale, and so on. And you can also delete and unschedule a job in one go from within the workshop module, either by choosing delete order in this menu, or if I am working on the job, up near the top, we've got the order number and this little rubbish bin icon here. I can just click on that, and that will do the same thing as removing all items and tendering in the point of sale. It will unschedule the job and cancel it. The only exception to this is if you've taken a deposit against this job. In that case, it won't allow you to unschedule it and cancel it from within the workshop module. You will need to go to the point of sale in order to refund that deposit. Another new feature that we've added that I think is really useful is the workshop minutes feature. So if I go to the back office and look at one of the items that makes up my workshop job, on the Advanced tab, we now have the workshop setup section with workshop minutes. This allows you to set a time period on each of the individual items that make up your service packages. And that then means that when you are looking at the job in the workshop, if you are on the calendar view, you can see that this job for Marine is 1 hour and 50 minutes long. And if I drag it out onto the calendar, it will automatically take up that amount of time. You can still adjust it using the top and bottom of the job frame. But the workshop will add up all of the minutes for each separate step and then combine it to give you the overall amount of time that this job should take up. And last but certainly not least, we've made some tweaks to Book My Bike In to enhance and streamline the process. When a customer accesses Book My Bike In via the direct link on your e-commerce site, they will no longer see this step where they have to enter their location. Instead, they will be taken to this second step where it will load the map focusing on your shop locations. Or if you have multiple stores, it will zoom out far enough to include all of them within this map. And they can then just directly choose which workshop they want to go for. We've also improved the integration between Book My Bike In and workshop holidays, meaning that in this holidays tab in the workshop, you can set a holiday for a specific mechanic to show that they will be on annual leave, they won't be there for the day. But if you set a holiday that is none assigned, that means that you're setting a holiday for the entire workshop, and Book My Bike In will respect that holiday when it's calculating the available drop-off dates. So customers won't be able to book a drop-off date for a holiday that isn't assigned to a particular mechanic, so the entire workshop is on holiday or closed, effectively. I'll now move to the Q&A section just to take a quick look at any questions that have popped up in the meantime that I might have missed while I've been going through all my points. So bear with me just a moment, please. So we've had a very good question to say that when the bike is picked up in the point of sale, does it automatically remove the bike from the storage slot? The answer is yes. That will clear the bike from the storage slot, and that one will now be free to take the next bike. Any other questions for the moment? That appears to be the only question. If anyone has any questions currently, feel free to just pop them in the chat. If not, I will move on to my closing slides and just give you a bit of a recap of what we've talked about and some timeframes as well. Oh, a couple more here, lovely. So on the new update, will we be able to attach pictures on job cards? Yes, you can. So I will find a job, any job. Let's go to the board view and open this job for Seafarer. If you go to the customer communication, this customer doesn't have a mobile number, so we'll have to go to note just here. And then we can upload an image just here, where it will then let you either drag your files from File Explorer, or you can click here and navigate through to wherever the image will be. And that will add that image. In fact, I can probably go and find one. Let's add this very real image of the citrus lime brand. I add a subject line quickly, image, save note. is saved to the job. Any other questions? Will the holiday on the side block the normal calendar, or does this only block Book My Bike In? It will only block Book My Bike In. To answer Tony's question there, it is stopping customers from being able to book a drop-off when there are no mechanics in the store. If I go to my calendar view, we should be able to see some of the holidays that we've got in the workshop at the moment. So we can see that Tani is on holiday Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I think that goes through to Monday as well. So you still have the option to put a job in there, but it will show that Tani is on holiday. Further questions? If you delete the job, is there a reason given? Nope, that just allows you to, if the customer decides that they don't want the work done anymore, it does come up with that warning pop-up to tell you that you are going to delete a job and sort of check that you're sure that you want to do that to try and prevent people from clicking it by accident. But a lot of the feedback that we got for Workshop 1 was that people wanted it to be easier to delete a job from within the workshop without having to go to unschedule it, then go to the point of sale, then remove all items in tender. Next up. Can the technician's name be seen in the job in Cloud POS? Ooh, in the point of sale, it will show on the workshop tag. So if I open this job from Marine, I can see the mechanic is set here at the top of the job. And if I want to print the workshop tag, I can use my printer icon over here. I can choose whether to print the full-size tag with or without customer details, or my 40-column receipt. And if I go to print my full-size tag, we can see who the mechanic was on the job receipt here. Hopefully that answers your question. If not, feel free to come back and ask again. Can a video be added as a link? That is a very good question. I know that we can put in a link to the communication, so I will test that and I will come back to you on that one, Stephanie, as I'm not actually sure of the answer to that. So I'll see what I can find out and I'll include that in my follow-up. Can we add PDFs as well as images? I believe that one is under investigation. That was brought to us during the beta testing feedback, the possibility of adding PDFs. So watch this space on that one, and I will let you know as soon as I have an update on that one. I'm assuming that's Ian. Okie dokie. When you delete the workshop job, does it completely remove it or does it keep the notes? That is a very good question. I would expect at first, my first assumption would be that it completely removes the notes and everything, but as with the question about the video, I will go away and find that out for you. Next up, we have many, many questions. If we have two mechanics and one is on holiday, does this reduce the number of slots available to book on Book My Bike In? For the moment, no. There's still, where we had at the top of the workshop module, we still have the option to control how many drop-off slots there are. But for the moment, if I go to Book My Bike In settings just here, we have the max drop-offs per day controlled on a day-to-day basis so that you can manually change it at any time. I believe we have some plans to update that in the future to make it more sort of plannable in advance. Okay. With the send payment link button, can we add a custom URL for this as we are not able to use such pay in the Channel Islands? That is another one that I will go away and find out for you, Tony, as I'm not entirely sure at the moment. Next up, could you please show how staff can see what slots are available in the workshop when a customer comes in to book a service? Of course, absolutely. So when we are in the point of sale, if I no sale these orders that I was recalling, as this customer isn't real, if I set customer quickly, I change this transaction to a workshop job, I can fill in all my relevant details, and then in the storage slot drop down, The black ones are the ones that are currently available, which I can select to assign this job to that slot. The grey ones are all full already. They are blocked out. I can't select them no matter how hard I click my mouse. And there is always the option to see it in the back office as well by going to Workshop and then Workshop Storage Slots, which I'm already on here. And I can see the ones that have NA are currently free, and the ones with a customer name, a service item, and possibly a mechanic as well, those ones are currently taken. It also won't allow you to delete a storage slot when a job is assigned to it. So that can be a good visual clue as well, that there's where there's a visible delete button, there's no job currently. Where that button is grayed out, that one's occupied. Okey-dokey. Next up. Is there a plan to add a checkbox option for multiple repairs being picked up at the POS side? It can be tedious to click back and forth for multiple repairs. If we're thinking in terms of just select all, I don't believe there is a current plan, but I can certainly raise it as a suggestion. That might be one to put on the feedback forum if it isn't already on there. But I will double check if there is a plan for that. Can we view the storage slot location used for a particular bike from the job card? Yes, we can. Apologies for not showing you that. So in the workshop, if I find a job either from the board view or from the calendar view, when I open my job, this one doesn't have one, but underneath service item, I have storage slot here. This particular job isn't assigned to one, but if I find a different job, let's go with Simon's. That one also doesn't have one. I'm doing very well at choosing my examples. Let's look at Michael's. Michael's has one. Michael has the middle shelf slot 1 grey racking just here. Got there in the end. Is there going to be an option for when goodwilling labour, so setting the value to -1 negative to balance an account? Can this be done in the workshop rather than having to go to POS and then back to workshop? That is a very good question. I'm going to see if I can change a quantity to -1. See what happens, does that. So it won't let me go below 0 at this point. So I will see if there is a plan for that one, and if not, I will let you know to put that on the feedback forum. Next question, are all users' security levels able to import items from SIM, or are only certain levels allowed? That's a really good question, Biagio. I would hope that the security levels will be respected, but I will double check that one and find out for you. I've got lots of homework for today. This is excellent. Can we create a workshop job directly from the Workshop 2.0, not having to use the till? I'm afraid not, that we still have the point of sale module bookending the workshop module, as we always have had, because we need to set it up and be able to take payment within the point of sale. So if someone was wanting to create a workshop job and take a deposit, that would have to be done from within the point of sale. So at the moment, in order to send the information over to the workshop, it needs to be created in the point of sale. I don't believe there are any plans to change this, but as with my long list of homework, I can certainly find out. Can you see the storage slot on the checkout? Ooh, I don't believe so. That's a really good question. I don't believe so, but I will go away and see if there's anywhere that it shows up. I don't believe it shows on the receipt. Can storage slots be used for more than one bike customer on different days? You can change the storage slot that a bike is using from within the job. So I suppose, yes, you could say that currently this job that I have for Michael is in middle shelf slot 1. I could move this to a different slot and then put another bike into the middle shelf slot instead, if that's what you're asking. I don't think I've quite understood the question, so I'm just going to check. If the previous day's bike client has not collected yet, will that slot still be blocked? Yes, the slot will be occupied. You can go in and remove the bike from the slot, or rather remove the slot from the bike. So I could just click that to deselect it, and that would free up that slot if needs be. So you can change, on the day, you can change bikes in and out of different slots. There can only be one bike per slot at a time. When a customer phones in and asks when is the next available time you can service my bike, how do we look on the calendar to quickly see when is the next available slot? So provided you have, say, if you were working in the point of sale and a customer asked, you could go to the workshop module, which as of Monday, 2nd of March at 7 p.m. GMT, this link here will take you to the workshop module, as will this link just here. And then we would be able to, I'll close this job without saving it, view the calendar here, and we can see where is free and where is not. You can have jobs scheduled at the same time, side by side. So currently we're looking at the full calendar for all of our mechanics. So we could have Simon's job that Jackson is working on sitting alongside Marine's job that Tani is working on. And then if that's starting to get crowded, I can just go, let's just look at Tani's workload, for example. I'm hoping that's answered most of your questions. If anyone wants any further clarification, please feel free to chime in. Or equally, when I send out the follow-up to this session, including the link to the recording of this webinar, feel free to respond to that email with questions. Can you set the minutes per cell to less than 30? You can. We have the option for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or 60 minutes. It tends to work in 15 minutes slots. And one other point, when I mentioned the workshop minutes option in the workshop setup, this works in, I believe, 5-minute increments. As much as we'd like to be as precise as possible, if you try and save this to be 12 minutes or 17 minutes, it won't work. It needs to be within a 5-minute window. Okay, unless anyone has any further burning questions that they're desperate to get answered now, I will go away and do my research and do all of my homework from this session. I will also just quickly recap a few bits and pieces and let you know about a couple of other things that should help us with the workshop module. So yes, I would like to resume from that slide. Thank you. So we've done the Q&A. So just to recap, Cloud POS Workshop 2.0 is going to be, it is available now. You just have to go slightly round the houses to access it. It fully launches on Monday, the 2nd of March at 7 p.m. GMT, which is when the links within the back office and the point of sale will take you to the new version of Workshop. We've also added a banner to the top of Workshop 1. This currently takes you to one of our marketing updates on Workshop 2. After this session, I will update it to take you to this recorded webinar for anyone else who would like to view this video who was unable to attend. And it will change to look like the banner that I've got here with a link to Workshop 2 as soon as it's fully live. You will be able to continue using Workshop 1 for a limited amount of time, but we would encourage you to get to grips with Workshop 2.0 sooner rather than later. It's much faster. We've added some great features and some improved functionality, and there will be a point in the future when we'll be switching off Workshop 1 completely. We will give you some warning on that. We're not just going to throw you in at the deep end, but we would encourage you to get to grips with it fairly soon. We've got updated articles and videos on how to use all of the new features and the main workshop functions in 2.0, which you can find from the How To and Documentation link in the Help menu. There's a new folder of Workshop 2.0 articles waiting for you there. And you'll also find some on-screen resources within Workshop 2.0. There's a quick 5-minute introductory video. There's a tutorial, and there'll be a checklist for new users as well. Finally, don't forget that the support team are here to help you from Monday to Saturday on live chat or on the contact phone numbers that you can see near the bottom of the screen. You'll also be able to find those numbers on the Citrus Line website anytime you need them. Just going to double check were there any other questions or thoughts. We've always used the calendar view to book bikes in. Is there any advantage to using the board view? Yes, there are plenty of advantages, largely to do with being able to see exactly what you've got in your workshop at the moment, where any blockers are, what's happening, what's currently being worked on. Thank you ever so much to Chris for putting the link to the workshop into the chat there for me. I will also include that in the follow-up email that I'm going to send. Very good question from Matt on, is there a quote option for a workshop job? We fully intend in the next release for workshops, not as in a full release, as in the regular updates that we put out every few months or so. We are intending to add in a feature where you can send a quote directly from a workshop job. It is coming, it is on the way. Unfortunately, it has not made it here in time for the full release on Monday. Thank you very much for your time, everyone. I hope you have a great day. And as I said, if you have any more questions, feel free to reply to the follow-up email or get in touch with the support team, as you always would. Thanks very much.